No current coach in the Mountain West has coached in more Mountain West games or won more Mountain West games than the head coach of the United States Air Force Academy, Troy Calhoun, who is joining us here to kick off the coaches' conversations at the 2025 Old Trapper Mountain West Football Media Days. Carly Drew, Jesse Kurtz, and the head coach of the Air Force Falcons, Troy Calhoun. It's great to see you, Coach.
Good to see you, Jesse. Great seeing you, Carly.
You're entering year 19. 19, Coach. What gets you up in the morning and gets you as excited about this season, the year 19, than you did in your first season in 2007?
You know, as you say that, it just, boy, I got goosebumps going right now. You're saying we're getting ready to kick off. And I'll tell you, I really, really look forward to working with this group. And you had an opportunity to meet a couple of the guys yesterday. Yep. Just the maturity, the commitment, the spirit. Are these remarkable young men? Absolutely. I mean, who you want serving, whether it's in our Space Force, our Air Force, who knows, flying a mission, it might be 35-plus hours or whatever it may be.
Sure.
Just amazing human beings that way. And yet, we really, really want to get into the football part of it, too.
And Coach, last year you had 4 straight wins at the end of the season. How do you see that energy continuing on into this new season?
You know, I don't think it really does, Carly, candidly, just because there's so much turnover, especially personnel-wise.
Right.
And, you know, you think, Ali, off the top of your head, some of those really, you know, those guys on defense of Asaro Ahi or Jamari Bellamy or Camby Goff or just guys that they've graduated. They're doing great stuff.
Right.
We'd love to still have them, but we don't. And yet what it does, it creates some doors, some possibilities for some other guys that have worked really, really hard. And, again, we can't wait to start. Really get it cranked up here in a week and a half.
Because you do have that turnover and you lose guys that then are second lieutenants and are great leaders. How quickly can you identify in your locker room, on your team, the next great leaders who will lead your team? How quickly can you identify those guys?
It does take time. You know, I think part of it's the natural process being at the Air Force Academy. You know, like the freshmen right now are experiencing basic training specifically. They're out in Jacks Valley. Phenomenal foundation. They don't feel that right now.
Yeah.
But in 3 years from now, they'll realize how rich that experience truly was. And then certainly 10 or 15 years, down the road in whatever leadership capacity they may be.
The cadets just marched out of Jacks Valley not too long ago. When you get your freshmen that have just gone through that, do you need to talk to them about the experience that you had, your assistant coaches, which has all kinds of academy grads? Do you talk about, okay, here's what's next for you. We know what you just went through. Here's kind of the evolution of now getting ready for a football season?
Well, it is methodical. It is deliberate. There's nothing instant. And certainly there's got to be a great deal of patience on our part when it comes to the football part, aspect of things. And amazing. I mean, just how impressed I've been with that group so far. They're only just over 3 weeks in, and yet the determination and you get a pretty good feel, certainly with the upbringings, just what heart and character and how well there's a sense of truly what that means.
You've had a remarkable run here in this league. You're 12 wins shy of breaking the all-time Mountain West record held by Rocky Long, and there's been some really excellent coaches, Hall of Fame coaches in this league. As you continue to climb that charts and got a really good chance here in the short term to have more Mountain West wins than any of them, that means something to you, that longevity, that success?
Jesse, I never think about it. I wouldn't even have known until you told me. I might tell you that Williams hit 406 and 46,
I know you would.
But I had no idea about that. And, I'll say this. I mean, just the juice and the adrenaline, the organization, the discipline, the toughness that we want to share with our young men and our young women there at the United States Air Force Academy. I mean, just the joy to be able to be a part of that process is it's as moving as it gets.
You have long said when it comes to the quarterbacks on your team, you need multiple. You need guys that you can count on 1, 2, 3 in whatever order. You get a couple of guys. Josh Johnson saw some time last year. Liam Zarka, some limited time. In what ways will they contribute on your team and at what level?
Yeah, that's kind of where another reason why you can't wait to get started.
Yeah.
You know, and at every position, and you know, maybe between them, what have they played? Perhaps 30 or 35 snaps total.
Yeah.
You know, which if you went through all the country, 1 through 135. That's probably 135th by a while, you know, by a ways,
Sure.
you know, when you look at snaps. Yet those two, you look at McGuire, Martin, Kemper, Hodges, Jackson King, Brody Fortunati. I mean, just they're guys that they're eager to go to work, and you just kind of know their soul. And is there naturally some time that it takes to get a good feel for playing that position? Most certainly. The good part about everybody we just mentioned, or I just mentioned, they're all underclassmen, which means you look going forward a little bit in 2026 or wherever that may be down the road. It'll be fun to see the way these guys develop.
Your fullback, Dylan Carson, was a little bit banged up early in the season, but when he kind of got a little healthier, understanding he probably knows never fully healthy, he was remarkable. And I think when I look at the way he runs the ball, I don't think he was stopped for a loss all season. What is it about his running style that he continues to move forward?
You know, that's imperative.
Yeah.
You know, it's and that's not a minor thing that you take for granted. You know, I think you look early in the year compared to down the stretch the last 3 or 4 games, the ball went forward much better. It sounds elementary, but it's a necessity in the way you operate. And you know, I think there are 3 guys that have background there. Terrence Gist, when he played good football for us. We need certainly to have more duration in terms of the number of snaps where he's healthy and able to be on the field, because he helped us. And he's going to help us even more this season. And I thought Owen Allen played really, really well the last few games.
And Coach, a player that's a bit of a Swiss Army knife, Cade Harris, we saw last season, over 700 all-purpose yards, 23 catches. What can you say about his style of play and what you expect him to bring to the field?
You know, Carly, naturally, what you see watching a highlight are some really, really skilled football plays. And when you're around him, he's pleasant, incredibly respectful. But he's got a little burn in his eye, too.
Yeah.
You know, just the will, the mental toughness, the kind of fortitude that he has. Great, great teammate, and a guy that has a chance to be really productive for us this season.
And I feel like that type of personality is just something that comes with those football players that play for the Air Force Academy. What can you say about just that energy, that theme across the board for these type of athletes?
Well, it takes time for all of them, all the young men, young women while they're there. I think naturally you see a pretty good progression over time. The developmental part of it is gigantic. Certainly once they tend to go into their junior, or what we call their 2-degree year, boy, that light really comes on often, and you say, all right, there's that guy we thought. We look back at his high school senior film. Here we go. And again, I mentioned the word earlier there. That's where the patience comes in.
We had a chance to talk to Bruin Fleischman yesterday. What an outstanding young man. Big kid, 6'5", 235 pounds at the tight end position. You've had some pretty good tight ends that have played at the next level. I mean, you got Travis Decker, who's now a doctor involved with the team. Garrett Griffin played in the NFL. Caleb Rillo's big guy, goes down and plays in the SEC. In what ways is Bruin Fleischman the next guy that can make a big impact? Already has, but a big impact for your offense.
You know, they're each their own guy, right?
Yeah.
They're articulate. They're considerate. They truly understand what it means to be a part of something bigger than yourself. They are bright. Now, they are great competitors, too, each one of them in their own way.
Sure.
You know, you talk about Travis Decker, a guy that he had to make an important decision. Do I go play for the Green Bay Packers? No. I'm going to go to med school. I'm going to go to Georgetown to go to med school, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to be a surgeon. I'm going to be a doc at the United States Air Force Academy, and those other 2 guys, too. I mean, just great young men. A real credit to his family. Mom was an excellent athlete, dad too, and Bruin will do good things for us this season.
When you see a guy like Travis Decker, he goes to an elite medical school, and then he trains at the Stedman Hawkins Clinic, which is like the best of the best. To see those guys succeed in the second part of their life at that level, How much does that kind of make you swell with pride?
Well, I got a big chest cavity. I need it for the way it makes what's inside there, the way it just swells. Fabulous young man. I'll tell you what's neat is how much the Air Force means to these guys over time. Candidly, they get there initially and they think, oh my, what did I get myself into a little bit? And yet the feeling they have for people, the willingness to serve, how proud they are, how fortunate they really feel to live in America, and how well they treat people. Yeah, that does get you fired up. And yet when you got to go to battle, literally, or to go play a game or whatever endeavor there may be later in life, boy, you sure hope you're hooked at the hip with them.
And we have at running back Dylan Carson. When he's healthy, he's a tank. What can you say about just the type of player he is and what you expect from him this season?
You know, Carly, he very dependable, has a lot of pride in what he does. A guy that'll be one heck of an Air Force pilot here real soon. And yet really gained some confidence down the stretch of the season. Now, we certainly don't want to overwhelm anybody, and we're fortunate there, like I said earlier, with Terrence Gist and Owen Allen, where we can get really good contributions out of all three of those guys.
Coach, on the other side of the football up front, Peyton Zadroik has seen a good amount of snaps for you. I know a couple of seasons he missed some games because of injury, but a guy, 4th season, 10th in Air Force history with 13 sacks and an absolute beast in the weight room. In what ways does he kind of set a standard as far as the way you train for that defense?
Yeah, you know, Jesse, we went through last year a good number of guys that really it was their initial action in college football. And you look along that front, Peyton, you look at Aiden Schwartz with Daniel Groby. I think they're at that boundary outside linebacker position, whether it's Isaac Hubert or Jay Reese. We have some guys that have been involved. I think the part that really helps Peyton, and at that nose guard position, Lukia Rawls, Jaden Aquendo, having some depth there too, just so a guy, rather than thinking, I have to play 75 snaps,
yeah.
I just think that the quality of the production actually improves when you really are specific about the quality of the snaps.
You mentioned Daniel Groby, a guy who kind of gets pushed into the starting lineup because of some attrition and then became very, very dependable for you each and every Saturday, went out there, was in the lineup, but then was very, very effective. How much did that surprise you? How quickly he was able to get into game speed and be as effective on the defensive line?
Well, another guy, he got to about the middle of his junior year, and you could tell confidence-wise the game slowed down. A lot of times what happens when you have self-starters, driven young men, driven young women, and really in anything that they pursue, sometimes they put so much on themselves.
Yeah.
They try so hard that it almost can squeeze a little bit of the ability really to perform and produce. And where I think now he's stronger, he's quicker. Just the anticipation and the instincts will be even better, not only as a football player, but another guy will be a darn good pilot down the road too.
And we had Luke Freer on yesterday, Coach, your punter. He has to deal with high-pressure moments, right? Game-winning decisions in his kicks. What can you say just about the type of Falcon he is?
Well, I mean, what's it take? 2 seconds at most? You kind of realize this is a pretty sharp guy. You know, just the poise, the maturity, exceptionally bright, and yet even more than that, just the strength of character that he has. And, you know, I don't want him to do too much.
Right.
I don't want to punt too often. But certainly there's some gains that can be made. You know, anytime we talk about hidden yardage and special teams, how important that is, and that punt's a huge factor, and Luke will help us. I just hope we're on the field more offensively. He doesn't have to help us frequently.
Right.
Would have ranked right near the top of the NCAA if he had enough attempts with kicking. And a guy that we spoke to yesterday, he might be angling a little bit to get in and kick a field goal. He kicked a 59-yarder in high school, the 3rd longest field goal made in Alabama high school history. You probably knew that.
Yeah, and you know what? I bet it wasn't up there at 7,000 feet either in
Oh,
Mobile,
right.
Alabama, right?
And he said he
Very
cleared
true.
it by 15 yards, Coach.
Yeah.
So just putting that out there. If you need a guy to kick a 65-yarder at Falcon Stadium, he might be your guy.
One thing with our guys, they don't hesitate to bring me things. You know, these guys
Right.
have plenty of initiative, and the quality of their interpersonal and communication skills, they're pretty certain they can get it across to Coach.
Yeah, I'm sure they're not shy in that respect. Luke talked about his summer involved a trip to go out to DC and be involved in some things that will help him in his Air Force career. How do you handle summers? You don't have the access to your athletes because there is a higher calling at the Air Force Academy, things that they are committed to do. How do you ramp up in the summer knowing that these guys have not been around in your weight room? They got to do it on their own, but you don't have that tangible access to your players throughout the summer because they're out doing unbelievable things.
Yeah, I tell you, in the short term, is there some concern as a football coach, just candidly? Yeah, to a degree, but we have enough. And I think the other part, I doubt if there's any college football coach in the country 15 days before you start would say, you know what, guys, I think it'd be good for you to go home. I trust you.
Yeah.
You might say, well, you're doing that with the 20. Yeah, I do. You know, they'll go to their high school and work out the time they spend at home with their family. I think longer haul, that's really, really beneficial because not only are they getting to jump in to one heck of a commitment with the football part of it, but academically in their squadron military duties that they have once they come back to the academy.
Well, Coach, we're going to go ahead and take a look at your schedule before you head out. You're going to open up at home against Bucknell at Falcon Stadium, and that's always a big celebration of not only the kickoff of the college football season, but Parents Weekend. The cadets, the freshmen get to see their parents for the first time. For those who don't understand the significance of Parent Weekend on the opening day of the college football season, how big is that to the culture of the Air Force Academy?
Jesse, it's the greatest. You ask any of those young freshmen or 4 degrees that have just finished basic training and they get to see mom or whoever family-wise that is. We started this in 2007, and it's a huge part of Parents Weekend. And what's kind of neat, a good number of the family members that come into town, we have a family practice on Thursday afternoon. We try to have a pretty lengthy some kind of scrimmage or activity of some kind on Friday. So Thursday afternoon with the parents, and then during Friday. And then we make sure as soon as the game's done, there's a good length of time before you really jump back into the football part of it and where they spend time. And I can tell you, for those moms and those dads, a bunch of them, oh, man. You can tell they have a pretty strong heartbeat that way, and they should too.
Yeah, tough to get dinner reservations in Northern Colorado Springs on that Saturday, by the way.
Hotels, right?
That's true.
Very true.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time here, making time for us on the Old Trapper Mountain West Football Media Days live show. Best of luck to the Falcons. We look for great things from your program once again.
Appreciate that, Jesse, and thank you. And Carly, you too. Thank you for what you both do to help our conference and to help the sport of football.
Right back at you, my friend.
Thank you, Coach. Well, you're going to want to stay right with us. We're just getting day 2 started here at the 2025 Old Trapper Mountain West Football Media Days. Up next, we get to sit down with the winning 2024 Mountain West Football Championship, Boise State Broncos. We have Spencer Danielson sitting down right here with us. Hear what's going on as they head into the 2025 football season. Keep it right here on the Mountain West Network.